Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and also good day to those participate from online. Welcome to the third session of IALA Digital Technology Committee meeting. Of course, you find nothing new except new secretariats. But actually, this Digital Technology Committee meeting, or IALA committee meeting, is something different from the previous, because now IALA becomes the intergovernmental organization. So this is we call the transitional committee meeting, because next February, we will have a new General Assembly to decide who will be the Secretary General and also who will be the new council, and officially start from the new intergovernmental organization for IALA. But of course, it's not nothing different from the committee meeting. But anyway, welcome to those, especially those who have some new faces. I count maybe 10, more than 10 new faces, and also registration become now more than 110 people with 16 online presentation members. So anyway, welcome to this third session of the meeting. Okay, and then I would like to introduce a new secretariat, new Jaime. Alisa, if you can introduce by yourself.
Yeah. Hello, I'm glad to see you all. So my name is Alisa Nichiparuk. I'm from Ukraine, and will be very happy to support you during this working week and after that. So thank you very much for this warm welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, Alisa. Yes. Then I would like to invite Mr. Secretary General Francis give us welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Hideki, and also from myself and the whole Secretariat, a warm welcome here to Paris Saint-Germain-en-Laye and to DTEC number 3. We had the VDES committee last week, and they took all the rain for you. It was rainy all week, but I think it will stay dry this week, so you will not be wet when you walk from your hotel to the headquarters. And it's wonderful to see so many participants in person. You know, that's our preferred way of meeting, face-to-face. We like that. But of course, also a warm welcome to those who participate online. That is really a good tool to save a little bit of CO2 and time. So welcome to all of you. Once again, I know I say this almost every time, but once again, I see you have a very busy agenda with lots of interesting input papers. Thank you very much to all of you who have submitted input papers. I know it's hard work, but it's very, very important. And you also have a lot of work from previous meetings in accordance with the work plan. The contributions, I've read all the papers representing perspectives from across the globe and cover nearly the entire spectrum of the DTEC committee. And it's very, very interesting to read all the papers. In particular, I note the numerous papers on cross-committee related work, and that is the same for all of the committees. More and more cross-committee related work. We do not work in silos anymore. Everything is cross-committee, and it's especially related to MAS, S100, the MCP, cybersecurity, and many other interesting aspects. I also see that VDES has gained significant momentum globally, and its importance is clearly reflected in the many papers on VDES. We are looking forward to hosting a seminar on VDES together with the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore and the Japan Coast Guard on 17 February, the day before the General Assembly in Singapore will be a seminar on VDES. While all the papers, of course, are very, very valuable and significant, I'm really particularly interested in the submission regarding the proposed vision for digitalization and also the guideline for the digitalization of waterways. Some of you may recall that this topic was the focus for the Digital at Sea International Conference in Copenhagen, held in January this year. And it was a highly successful event, quite different from previous Digital at Sea, but very, very successful. But it clearly illustrated the challenges of establishing a comprehensive vision for digitalization. And I know this work is also ongoing in the IMO, and I know that especially BIMCO have submitted some very interesting papers to the IMO on vision for digitalization. I have the paper if the group that works on the vision is interested, the BIMCO paper. I think there are some fundamental questions that we must address in shaping a vision for digitalization, important for IALA really. Is digitalization the destination or merely the means to achieve our goals? I mean, is it just a tool or is it a destination for the vision? Is it the best approach for everything? Do we need to digitize everything, or could we just keep the normal procedures as they are now? I really look forward to closely following this evolving discussion. I know from the Digital at Sea International in Copenhagen on the vision for digitalization, the only vision that we can all really remember from that conference is make e-navigation great again. It is, of course, clear from the submitted paper that each of you bring specific expertise to the forum. Sometimes it's really national. Each part of the world have special skills. And this reinforced the importance of creating this platform in IALA, where to share experience and knowledge. And this is really a core aim for the association, for the organization, I have to say now. And I encourage you really to make most of this opportunity to talk and to learn from each other and share your experience with your colleagues. As many of you know, and as the chair just mentioned, IALA became an intergovernmental organization on the 22nd August. So we are now an IGO, and we have already 35 member states. 34 before last week, but last week the Solomon Islands deposited their instrument of accession to the new IGO. And the first General Assembly is scheduled for 8 to 21 February next year in Singapore. And of course, it will be open to all members who have filled in the transfer document from the old association to the new IGO. And I'm sure Lorraine will approach those of you who have not filled in this document to transfer your organization or company to the new IGO. And also, when I read through the documents, a small thing, but please remember to update any documents you're working on with a new name, because the new name is now the International Organization for Marine Aerial Navigation. No lighthouse authorities anymore. I wish you all the best for a productive week, and thank you for your continued dedication to work in the good and well-known IALA spirit. So I look forward to talking much more during the week, and I also look forward to the soirée tomorrow evening. That is always very entertaining. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you for the kind word, especially regarding digitalization. That's my committee name, come to the Digital Technology Committee. But I know that somebody really want to back to the ENAV again. Anyway, okay. Then next agenda item, we need to approve the agenda. So, Alisa, could you show the provisional agenda for Digital Technology third session? If you can see, we have a slight change of the agenda item 3 after 310 VDES Alliance from Stefan Perlmeyer, but I don't see him, maybe. But after, anyway, 310, we have a small talk from Deputy Secretary General regarding a VDES issue. So we have a 3.11 in here. And then we have today almost 6 presentation. It's a very, very interesting presentation here. And then after that, we review the documents as usual, then allocation of the all input paper to all working group 3. And then I would like to invite each working group chairs to their program for this week. And then breakout of the working group. Then from afternoon of today to Thursday, we are breaking up to the all working group to produce outputs. Then coming back to Friday as a plenary, just a output document review session. Then we have a closing plenary in Thursday next week, online closing plenary. This is almost same agenda item of the DTEC3, but if you have any question or comment regarding this agenda items. Thank you. So now agenda is approved. Then move to the next agenda item is apologies and introduction. There is no apology received to Secretariat or me. I think it's that many people still maybe tomorrow will coming somebody, but there is no apology received. Then introduction, as you see, we have very big group, so we don't take time to each self-introduction, but maybe we really appreciate for especially your newcomer to coming to this DTEC3 meeting. Then next 1.4 program for the session and also some announcement from the Alisa. You will take over this session.
Thank you. So before we continue, I have mentioned a couple of statements that you could see on the screen. First of all, you could see it that the first one concerned the IALA General Data Protection Policy. IALA complies with the General Data Protection Regulations of European Union. IALA will include a list of participants with their contact information in the report of the meeting. Any participant who wishes to remove their contact details from the participant list should advise the committee secretary as soon as possible. Next one is IALA patent policy. So if participants have knowledge of any patents, including pending patents applications, either their own or of other organizations or individuals, the use of which may be required to practice or implement the content of IALA documents being developed or worked on in the meeting, please advise the IALA Secretariat as soon as possible. So the next one, here is some information for you. So DTEC3 physical week begins today, and most of you have arrived this morning, so please be sure that you have your name badges. If not, please keep it and keep it during all the week. Please make sure that you are registered, especially it's important for participants who participate online. General information that you can find on the front desk, including technical catalog, and also lunch options are available on the reception desk. About group photo, you have information. It will be Tuesday at coffee break. Also, our soiree is planned on Tuesday evening, starting from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And finally, office hours in other working days, please leave the office before 5:30 p.m. And information about Wi-Fi network of IALA you could see around the room. And here is a login and password. Also, please, no smoking in IALA office. For smoking, please go outside. Here is a plan of layout of meeting rooms. So we are here now. It's first and second rooms. Here is a reception, and it's a front door. And other side we will use for working groups. Next one, about emergency exits. So we are also here now, and you could use to upstairs to go outside if it will be used. So the next one that we need to be sure it's our working with our website, because it's your main platform for working. So here is a website committee dashboard. Then you need to go to DTEC committee, and you will see the news about the our session during this meeting, during this week. Next one, you can go to the action plan. So action plan is actual task that we took for our working week. Here is an introduction of each task, its state, and also the most important, it's the link for working groups meeting rooms. So here you can see it for working group 1, for working group 2, and for working group 3. In calendar, you saw the link to today's plenary meeting, and then also it will be important for our next plenary and the closing plenary. So any links you could find here. Resources, it's any useful tabs that you can use during your work, like searching in publication and input papers. Here is a tab approval. So here will be a document that will go to the silent approval. It will be soon. And file share, it's your main working place here. So you could find DTEC3, and all working group documents could be here. And the last one that we should mention, it's a program of the week. So you could see our program of the week, which started today. And during close to the 13, we will have opening plenary, then it will be lunch. And after that, the working group works will start. And it will be the same for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I should mention important information that deadline for submissions of documents to go for committee approval and working documents will be the Thursday, 17:30, so 5:30 p.m. by local time. For Friday, we also have deadline for submission of working group reports and all working papers. It will be 13 local time. And silent approval will be during starting from 3rd to 8 October, and closing plenary online will be on 10 October, 11 UTC. Thank you.
Thank you, Arisa. Is there any question regarding program for the week? Okay, if nothing, next, I would like to move to the review of action items from DTEC2. Input paper DTEC3 2.1.1. Is there any comment regarding these action items?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, we should report that everything well done.
Please scroll up, scroll down. Yeah. Okay. Please scroll down. Then for committee participants, is there anybody have any comment to the action items? It's okay. So no action item remain to DTEC4. Okay. Thank you. Then next, I would like to move to the report from other bodies. First, as usual, Misu will make a report regarding IALA Council and other bodies. Please, Misu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So good morning to you and good morning all participants. Regarding the agenda item 3, I'd like to provide an update on IALA-related matters. For the first agenda item is on 3.1.3.1 on the IALA Council. The 80th session of the IALA Council was held from June 24th to 28, 2024 in Istanbul, Turkey, chaired by President Marcos Almeida from Brazil. The Council approved the revised work program for 2023 to 2027. No changes were made to the proposed revisions. Additionally, the Council approved the meeting and events plan for both current and upcoming years. As you can see on the screen, there is a list of the workshops and events planned for this year and next year. For the interest of this committee, the workshop proposal prepared in collaboration with the ENG committee, along with the document C80 1042 and 10421 on future radio navigation and radio communication systems, has been approved by the Council. Additionally, the Councillor from Ireland announced an international conference on lighthouse tourism and maritime heritage. This event is scheduled to be held in Dublin Castle from 7 to 8 October 2025, hosted by Irish Lights in partnership with IALA, alongside the national and international tourism lighthouse and maritime heritage agencies and bodies. In terms of the documents, the Council approved all of the draft recommendations and guidelines, including the technical service documents. Firstly, recommendation 1019, including 1019 is on the maritime service in the context of e-navigation. This revised document contains only minor changes. Specifically, 2 lines were added to the recommendation, emphasizing the importance of harmonized product specifications and interoperable technical services, as well as platforms for providing users with an interoperable service discovery and identity authentication and messaging service. And also a new guideline on the cybersecurity, which was numbered Guideline 1182. This document has been developed in cooperation with all of the committees. The scope of the documents covers how to mitigate cybersecurity risks, focusing on the existing technologies and intended for authorities and technology providers in the IALA domain. The key points include regular risk assessment, incident response plans, business continuity management, and cybersecurity training, and participation in information sharing networks are essential principles and best practices. So as a conclusion, this guideline emphasized integrating cybersecurity into daily operations to protect critical maritime systems. And also, you can see there are some of the VDES documents were also approved. For your information, the council meeting, for the council meeting, Secretariat prepared a paper explaining the versioning and approval of the product specifications and technical services, which was the document C80 1072. The point was that the technical service includes 3 levels: a high level, technology agnostic service specification, and the service design, which is describing the implementation, which is specific technologies like a SECOM or MCP MMS, and the service instances provided by entities, including endpoint and possibly geographical coverage. And for the versioning, all of the product specifications and technical services between the edition number 1 to edition number 2 are subject to testing and validations. So the committees could make changes to the documents without approval of the council. And when the documents reach to edition number 2, they will be sent to the council for approval for publications and implementations. So that was a piece of information to the committee. And also Council approved the documents from DTEC committee, including the provision of MCP identities. It was approved and then numbered as a guideline 1183. The Secretary General of MCC, Mr. Axel Hahn, attended the meeting in person and presented the paper. Modification was made to the draft input from the committee regarding the MCC section, which describes the activities of the consortium, especially the word responsibility was removed from the text. Then the document was approved. The Council approved the revised recommendation 1007 and guideline 1128. And the Council also approved 8 liaison notes to other international organizations. So that is the quick recap of the Council meeting, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is there any question regarding Council meeting? If nothing, I would like to continue to ask Min-Soo to report IR Policy Advisory Panels, PAP.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be quick on this one. The PAP meeting took place just 2 weeks ago, prior to this meeting, and the report is not really ready yet. But just to recap, the meeting covered the work of IALA on mass, including the outcomes of the IALA Mass Task Force, which was held during the PAP meeting. Additionally, STCW revision documents was discussed. For your information, IALA has submitted a paper on the revision of the STCW to the Intersessional Working Group on STCW, which will be held actually next week in IMO headquarters. Discussion also included the development, training, testbed, and roadmap of the S200 series product specifications. So that was a quick summary of the PAP 54 session. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Any question? So please continue to the digital at sea.
Yeah, digital SE continues. For those of you who are not really familiar with this digital SE initiatives, this digital SE has 3 events. First is a digital SE.
Sounds like a hard drive going dead.
Oh.
I hope you backed it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So a conference series. This initiative has a conference series and also capacity building and digital clusters. So for tentative schedule of this meeting, there was you can see on the screen. This year there were 3 events: Digital SE International DMA, and North America and Asia Pacific was held. And next year it hasn't been decided yet, not confirmed yet, but North America and Asia Pacific, and the year after there is Asia Pacific, and then there is another additional Digital SE conference series. So as soon as we hear more and the coordinating group decides, we will inform the committee on this one. So DTEC is requested to note the information. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So next year we have a North America and also Asia Pacific.
That is not confirmed yet.
Not confirmed yet. Okay. Anyway, so if you have any question on the data at sea meeting, or if nothing, next, okay, the means again for the IHO.
So with the IHO, IALA has many things to cooperate. So IALA joins IHO HSSC meeting, and also NIPWIC meeting and S100 working group meeting, and some of the regional hydrographic commission meetings. And I have information about this one. We just had a joint IHO IALA workshop And also we have a regular technical cooperation meetings for the first one, just some of the information of the IALA committees. ARM continued the work on developing S201 and 125. The task group reviewed all the gaps identified in edition 1.1 and formulated a plan to update the UML diagram and feature catalog, schema, and data capture and encoding guide. ARM also developed S201 125 development schedule. ARM aims to advance 201 to edition 1.2 by ARM 19, which is next week, and to edition 2 within the 2 years, with the goal to finalize S125 edition 1.0 by end of 2027. The VDES committee continues the working on S210, inter-VDES exchange, and S212, VDES digital information service. They held the intersessional meeting in Quebec, Canada, and worked on revising the guideline, developing technical services descriptions, and updating the recommendations. ENG is updating S240 DGNSS Almanac product specifications. ENG identified several issues during the testing, such as inconsistencies between the data model and feature catalog. They are being addressed in the upcoming sessions. The S200 testbed is an important tool for the members to test and experiment with the product specifications. Korea MOF and CRISO are supporting the development of this tool, and some of the significant updates include new login function and enhanced user interface, and they will come along and they will be discussed next week. So that was the work of the committees on this one. And of course, for the work of the DTEC committee, I think that will be discussed in one of the working groups. So just a sum of the recap of the second joint IHO-IALA workshop on S100-200 development and portrayal. So this event took place in 9th to 13th of September 2024 at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, U.S., with 84 participants from 19 countries. The workshop was successful, covered a range of topics related to S100 and 200 series development, focusing on operations, technical aspects, and training needs. In terms of the operational, key operational points included ensuring S101 data model covers a vast extent of the information and clarifying the roles of S124 and 125 for navigational informations. S124 will handle time-critical information, while S125 will cover changes to edge navigation information, complementing S101. On the technical side, the workshop recommended that the IHO review data provision for international compliance, established official testing for MCP identity management, and improve communication regarding the changes to the S100 standards. Structured testing templates and focusing on enhancing 124, 125 symbols were also suggested. In terms of the training discussions emphasized addressing knowledge gap in S100 and suggested using both traditional and multimedia communication methods. There is a need to define the different user groups across the maritime community for the targeted training, ranging from executive level to technical developers. Training must be accessible in multiple languages, and coordinated communication from IHO and IALA is crucial to convey the benefits of S100. So the workshop concluded that it was highly beneficial for understanding future interactions between S101, 124, 125, and 201. And future events was recommended to continue these discussions. So that was the recap used on IHO matters. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. So is there any question regarding IHO movement? Yeah, it's a lot of movement actually. And this is related to the next report from IMO from me. After the DTEC3, IMO had a 108th session of the Maritime Safety Committee meeting in May. And at that time, important to IALA is to MSC approved the new revised resolution for equities performance standard to including route exchange capability from shore and ships. So this is very related to, of course, mainly VDES committee, but some part is in a committee. And also, what is interesting is just there are some comment paper submitted to MSC 108 regarding this S100 issues because that IHO is now working to S100 and the new equities performance standards will into effect from 1st January 2026 in the voluntary part. Then 2029 is all new equities come to the two capability for S57 and S100 capability. So also there's a one comment paper come from the New Zealand regarding how to especially real-time exchange of the S100 information like S124 as already Miss introduced. S124 is a navigational warnings and a really important issue. So MSC just had a discussion and assigned NCSR to bring back to this issue to future MSC. And also regarding MAS, Maritime Autonomous Surface Ships, MSC 108 still continue to develop the voluntary MAS code for cargo ships. And but there is some kind of the change of the roadmap. Originally, MSC planned to complete this development of MAS code by MSC 109, which is held in December. This coming December, but it's postponed to the target completion year to MSC 110 in the next year. And then, of course, establish a correspondence group of MAS and also establish intersessional working of MAS. And I attended the third intersessional working MAS in September IMO meeting. And this intersessional working group finalized especially a very important part of the Maritime Autonomous Surface Ships, which is part 3, chapter 17 regarding autonomous navigation systems. So at least they developed this part and also fire protection part. But unfortunately, due to the time constraints, they couldn't develop the other part to finalize this MAS code. So maybe there will be some discussion. Of course, this come to the MSC 109, but maybe MSC 109 again revise their roadmap to extend the target completion year to not MSC 110, maybe MSC 111 in 2026 or someday. So it's a little bit delayed of the MAS code movements. And regarding NCSR, and unfortunately, I was assigned chair of the navigation working group at the NCSR. So my report is only VDES things. As you know, that NCSR 10 established a correspondence group for VDES, but VDES correspondence group could not finalize because a lot of discussion regarding how to amend chapter 4 of the SORAS and chapter 5 of SORAS. And then NCSR 11 decided not to amend chapter 4, but only amend chapter 5 and re-establishing a correspondence group under the coordination of Japan again. This is a VDS movement, but as a movement, maybe Misu will report.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to give you some just a general information about NCSR 11. That microphone.
Microphone is working?
Is your microphone working? Yeah. Is it coming along? Okay. So for NCSR 11 general information, to this meeting, IALA submitted the following papers on the screen, as you can see on the screen. NCSR 1114, IALA guideline on 1181 on VDES, VDL integrity monitoring, which was noted by the group. And also IALA submitted the 2 papers on IALA MBS and the risk management toolbox. Both of them were considered by NCSR and agreed without any changes. So these guidelines will be submitted to the it's a mother committee MSC for approval. And also we have some points from Stefan Baba. So Chair, if you agree, can I ask Stefan Baba to give a more updates on this?
Yes, thank you. If Stefan, if you need to update something in the NCSR related to this DTEC committee, like I know that the AIS discussion in the communication working group.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, actually I would like to refer to, if it comes to VDES and IS discussion, refer to working group 3. There are several issues which were addressed besides the mentioned. The VDES decision was already mentioned. And there was a discussion on the blockage of IS signal, the revision of 1371, which we have here as well. Measures to improve the security and integrity of IIS. Those aspects were discussed as well, but we will come in our working group to those. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. And then I would like to just add one more thing, is that the MSc 109 in December, there's already some new work proposals submitted by members, and especially related to this working group is, of course, one is how to implement S100 real-time exchange with secure communication systems from Australia, Otto, and IALA is one of the co-sponsors of this paper. And then other new work proposal is to from European country to maybe develop the new performance standard for the VDES R mode receivers. And also another proposal is also from the European country is to have some kind of the roadmap to how to digitalize the VHF voice communication in the future. Of course, this is still just a proposal, and I'm not sure if MSC agreed to include this new output into their biannual agenda items. But if they approved, maybe IALA, especially this DTEC committee, will work heavily regarding these issues. This is just IMO report. Is there anything add to from or any comment from you? Okay, you want any question? Okay, then next, I would like to invite Stefan Bova regarding ITU movement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everyone. Just a brief report from ITU. ITU had this Working Party 5B had its meeting from 14 to 24 of May this year. Issues discussed were the revision of 1371 IS. This revision is now coming to a close. We have an input to this meeting here from from ITU with regards to the revision of the 1371, especially highlighting the new message 28, which is a single slot ATON message. ITU is looking for comments from IALA. Then there is an ongoing work on ITUR M585, which is an assignment of user identities. Here the problem is that the free numbering manufacturer code is running out of space, so then looking for an alternative of an addition. And CIM is involved in this and will propose a solution. This will be also discussed in our working group 3. ITU has 2 new work study questions on his agenda, which is the coexistence of VHF data exchange system with ranging mode, the R mode question. And the other study question is the introduction of digital voice communication in VHF maritime frequency channels, will also be studied. During the session, the drafting work on the new new report on VDES R mode is being developed. Let's continue work. Yeah, and then that's more or less what is of interest of IALA. So as mentioned, there is a liaison note from ITU to here, and we should look at this together with the ARM committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. Is there any question regarding ITU movement? If nothing, next, I would like to invite also Stefan and Jorge regarding IEC movement.
Thanks again. So I start with IEC TC80 Working Group 15, which is the working group working on IES and VDES. As mentioned last time, IEC is now in the process to develop a first standard for VDES mobile station, including all functions, which is IES, ISM, VDE terrestrial, and VDE satellite. This is planned to be finalized end of next year. So it's one more year to work, and we're making good progress. But as usual, we are open for volunteers to join our work. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I have some information regarding the maintenance team 5, which is working on IEC 62288, which is the NAV presentation standard. They did an amendment to it, correcting some issues regarding bits for mobile ATON display. Very quick, short amendment. It just corrects a few bits that were left out of the annex that shows how to display mobile ATONs. That was corrected. Other than that, that's it. And that was, I guess, is in the process of getting published this month. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next question to IEC. Okay, if nothing, then move to ISO. Okay, Minsu, please.
Thank you, Chair. As Jun Park couldn't join this meeting in person, so I'd like to give an update on this one. So with the ISO, IALA, we monitor quite a lot of work on ISO matters, and Jun Park is task group lead of one of the SC meetings. And just for your information, IALA submitted a proposal to become a liaison body of the ISO TC8 SC11, which is on intermodal and short sea shipping. So IALA now became the official liaison with this special committee from November last year. So now we just connected with this group. So we will keep joining this group, and then we will continue on this matter. That is a quick summary on the ISO matters from my side. Chair.
Thank you, Minsu. Any question? If nothing, next I would like to invite RTCM. So Jorge, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. RTCM has been doing quite a bit of work these past year that kind of is maybe important to some members here at the Digital Technology Committee. There's Special Committee 112 working on radar, has a draft ready for voting that's in circulation right now of an amendment to their RTCM radar standard for non-solar ships, which is used in the United States for its domestic fleet requirements. So that's currently in circulation. I think it closes this month, and we'll move forward from there. Special Committee 121 on AIS has a mobile ATON standard that they've completed that's gone through voting and now is in comment resolution stage. We hope to have quite extensive comments that were provided to that from me that are being adjudicated, and we hope to have that completed at our next session next month and be able to move forward with publication of that standard sometime at the end of the year. Also, we have a Special Committee 112 working on VHF interference and addressing AIS blocking, something that was reported at the last session and something that's been reported to IMO and ITU regarding issues that we've encountered regarding blocking of AIS when vessels are in close proximity of each other to working on that. I had Johnny and Ross here just to invite them if there's any additional comments they would like to add to work that's currently going on in RTCM. Since they're members of the board, I was always remiss not asking them as members of the board of RTCM if they have any additional comments that they'd like to add. Ross?
Excuse me, my microphone was borrowed Johnny's mic. We have another committee, Special Committee 139, which is chaired by Stefan Pielmar, and it has to do with maritime messaging system. As you know, VDES is a portal, but it doesn't specify how messages are constructed and so forth. So this committee is moving ahead quite nicely.
And then finally, Special Committee 109, I forgot to mention on electronic chart systems is working on a revision to the RTCM chart standard. This is non-ECDIS charting, and they're, I think, hopefully completing their work in the next month or two to make that available as a committee for draft voting. Pretty extensive updating of that standard to address changes in standards that from the previous edition and to address also S100 support. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Yeah, any question? If nothing, then next I would like to invite Haugli regarding 3GPP movement.
Can you hear? I will share. Here's the overall timeline from the release 19 to 21, especially to the standardization of 60. According to the support, the kind of service continuity between the previous generation and the upcoming generation, 3GP usually work on the continuous enhancement of the previous generation, which is the 5G advanced. And accordingly, 60 standardization is started. And then release 21 will be the first release to be submitted to ITR for the related to the IMT23. And then regarding the IALA liaison note to be sent to the 3GP TSG plenary, it was presented in the 3GP TSG plenary, which was held in Melbourne, Australia 3 weeks ago. And then rather than providing the reply liaison, it was decided to inform the current status by liaison person, which is myself, because it was a view that it will be too early to send such any liaison to external body. So the objective for the feasibility study of 60 requirements is that to identify high-level principle and use case, to define potential requirement, to enable the 3GPP system to support the needs of new and enhanced service and scenarios based on, but not limited to, IMT23 usage scenarios. Actually, when 3GPP defined the objective of any study and work, we usually do not use but not limited to. We usually define concrete scope of objective. But in case of this one is a new generation, so at the moment we cannot imagine how it's going on. So that's why it was included but not limited to. So in addition to the IMT20 framework defined by ITR, we look into the any new use cases based on the contribution from the 3GPP individual members. So that the study will be completed in March 2026. And then I add one additional information, which was approved in September as well, which is public warning service supported by RIS 19, narrowband IoT over NTN. NTN is the abbreviation of a non-terrestrial network, such as satellite, unmanned air vehicle, and HAPS, but mainly satellite stakeholders pursuing the features using the over NTN. And that I'm not sure whether you are aware of the public warning service or not, but I once made a presentation in the last IALA conference in Brazil, so I added that part. So if you want to see what it is, it will be better. And then once this feature is completed to be standardized, and then via the satellite, the public warning messages could be delivered to the device. And for your understanding, US and Korea, Japan also provide such a public warning services through the mobile network. But in order to enable such a public warning service supported in the maritime sector, regulatory policy should be defined prior to the standardization. So in case of a terrestrial environment, already the regulatory requirements are provided to 3GP, and based on those requirements, 3GP provides such a solution. And I added one slide. This is related to the liaison between IALA and ITR, which IALA sent the one liaison note to ITR study group 5 at the last meeting in DTEC3, and then it was sent after approval of Council AT, and now it's a DTEC3. But unfortunately, the liaison note will be treated in the ITR Working Party 5D47, which was started from the Thursday this week, which means that after ITR Working Party 5D47, that reply liaison will be supposed to be arrived in next DTEC4 meeting. So in that case, there is one the work within the Working Party 5D, which I indicated in the orange color, but that work is completed by June 2025. So according to the current procedures, there is some issues. So that's why we need to consider to send the liaison to Working Party 5D at this meeting, and then accordingly, upcoming council could approve that liaison note, and then in February 2004, that input could be discussed within the Working Party 5D. So further discussion will be treated within the Working Group 2. So I hope that interesting people could join that Working Group 2 meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ku. If any question, this issue, so if nothing, and then next, just in time, Stefan Schiermeier, VDES Alliance, please.
Yes, just in time, the VDES Alliance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, the VDES Alliance, I want to make it very short. To remind you, we are a global association of organizations and industry to cooperate on the testing and promoting in the use of VDES. So no competition to IALA, ITU, IMO, who whatsoever. We want to fill a gap that has not been filled before. VDES is a complicated technology. I'm sorry to say so. It's like AIS, a bit more complicated. So what we have seen in AIS, many equipment in the beginning was not compatible with each other. And in VDES, we want to avoid that. We want to have the industry work together on not only making tests, IEC tests, which is only one piece of equipment at the time. Yeah, now they are searching me. Nearly, here I am. Okay. And but we also want to test the equipment against each other. There is shore base stations, there is ship equipment, and there is of course also satellite equipment now, and everything should work together and not just equipment producer A with A or B with B, but it should also work A with B, of course, and with C and with D and so on. So please join the VDES Alliance if you are an equipment producer or a shore authority who wants to help us define test cases, who wants to be part of the process. And you can contact me if you don't find the VDES Alliance. Otherwise, Google is your friend. I would say we should be easy to find. We have right now 15 members, 3 more are to come. We had a very successful General Assembly at SMM, including an interesting fire alarm. That was very funny. So we are much more team now than we have been before because we had a very good team building. The VDES Alliance today has 2 committees. One committee for the interoperability testing, very much hardware and protocol oriented. And then we have the other committee on satellite. And I tell you in a second that the output of these 2 committees is for the interoperability. Our plan is to have a list of interoperable equipment. So whoever goes and meets and goes through the test will be on a list. So we can say a positive list. These equipment worked together. We have demonstrated that, or these producers have demonstrated that. And for the satellite, it's an IALA input that we plan on the coordination or on the how different satellites can play together, possibly also with the ground segment. So it will be an input to the guideline that is actually developed in my team, in my working group here, working group 3, and we get to that in a point, I think, later. We strive also to have a working group that's not yet existent to work more on the promotion of the use cases of VDES, because we find, as everybody else, that that's the most crucial point right now. Now we have the technology, we make it work, we have the standards around, we define how to transport S100 services over it. That's my part in RDCM. But now we also need to fill it with the use cases. G1117 has created a long list of possible use cases. Now we have to find the killer use cases and go out there, and everybody has to tell the same story. So we are not telling 20 different stories, but we maybe try to tell close to the same story to everybody, so it doesn't sound so confusing for the people out there who never worked with VDES before. So that's basically what we work with right now in the VDES Alliance. I'm the chairman. You can come to me in case you want to join. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. So if any question regarding VDES Alliance, then next I would like to invite Deputy Secretary General regarding also VDES issues.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and very good morning to all of you. It's wonderful to see you all.
And you
face
are?
to face.
And you are who for the new members?
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Newcomers, I am Omar. I work for IALA in various roles, but it's about to change a little bit because I've been heavily hit by work with the World War Academy. And from the 4th of November, there will be a new dean of the World War Academy, and I will focus 100% on you guys as the Deputy Secretary General. I've had these 2 roles for a long time now. So the IGO will require increased focus on in every corner of IALA. So we'll get some more. No, there's no secret who it is. It's Vice Admiral Vincent Denamure. Rear Admiral, sorry.
We're going to promote him as
who won the race after a hectic process, but he will start on the 4th of November, and I'm sure he will be excellent in that role. I look forward to working with him. So newcomers again, if you have any questions about IALA, how it works, our internal workings, the procedures here, the logistics, please come to the secretary, Alisa. Welcome, by the way. Very welcome. And you can also come to me if you want. However, I will only be here today, and then I'm online for the rest of the week. But the main reason why I asked for the floor was that some time ago, actually it was the VDES Alliance chair or reporter that raised the question of patents relating to VDES. There were some concerns because we had discovered a few patents of Chinese origin, and well, some people looked into it, and one of them was particularly interesting, could have some bearing on some of the work that we are doing, they said. So I've been chasing that ever since. I made contact with the China Maritime, China MSA, and asked them to help clarify. They made contact with the patent owners, and it's a good story, this one, because as soon as we had the dialogue with those that owned these intellectual property rights, they immediately said that first of all, there's no conflict. The technology described by these patents is not in conflict with what we are doing in our documents at the moment, in our publications. And if so, if needed, they were completely prepared to issue a declaration allowing IALA and our members use the patents free of charge. So I just wanted to highlight this because, as Stefan said, this is becoming more and more complex. The technology is complex, and it's difficult to navigate for those that are not completely in the know. So therefore, we see patents here and there, and it's difficult to understand whether they are of any consequence for us. But here we have at least 5 patents that are in the clear, and I would like to encourage everyone that know of any patents that are relevant to raise the issue with me or with the Secretariat, and we will try to look into it and get some more success stories. Yeah, Stefan?
Yeah, thank you, Omar. Thank you, IALA. Thank you, Omar. We heard you have 2 roles right now and everything. You reacted to the mail, you talked to the people, and the result is excellent. And we even have a formal input and everything on paper. I must say I'm impressed, and I'm very, very happy for the VDES as a technology that you did that for us. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, welcome again. And this will be a great week with all the brains that we have here in the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Yeah, very good news for VDES patent matters. Thank you very much. Then before going to the presentation next time, maybe you need some coffee. Okay. So I will give you maybe 10 minutes coffee break. Please back to the 11:20. Okay, coffee break. antenna? Hans? Oh, Hans is not here.
I have not, I don't see him. No.
I haven't seen him yet.
Just
Ah,
demonstration.
Just demonstration. No, Hans is not coming here. He's coming, but. Okay, maybe later.
Later.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Then, sorry, Hans is not come here. Maybe later if he meet in the disciplinary session. But anyway, so I would like to invite Thomas, as you say that the three presentation regarding SECOM matters. You introduce these presentations. Thomas, please.
Thank you very much. And I will try to share my screen. And here we go. Yes. So I would like to start here. So anybody remembers that? This was part of every slide 15 years ago. The harmonized exchange of harmonized data. La, di, la, di, la, di, la. Well, my point is that the wow is now. We are actually doing this now, and we are going to demonstrate that. And I think that is just terrific. And the wow is now, that is actually the slogan from a product launch at the same year as e-navigation was initiated in IMO. I don't know if you remember, but it seems like a bit few years ago. But anyway, we are making e-navigation great again. And I ordered caps for everybody, mega caps. We'll have them for the soiree tomorrow, and we'll have a great e-navigation party. So what is Thomas so worked up about here? Well, we're going to demonstrate the exchange of navigational warnings, because that is what has progressed the most. The data format is, of course, standardized. That is S124. And the exchange is standardized by the technical service specification, which is on the table in IHO. And we're using the e-navigation toolbox. Of course, we have the IEC standard SECOM, the G1128, the new guideline G1183 that was mentioned, that was just made by IALA on the provision of MCP identities, and of course S100 itself. So we have this e-navigation toolbox that Julius will talk a little bit more about. So it's been a long way to get to this point where we're actually able to do this. And we remember also in the beginning of e-navigation, we talk about the low-hanging fruits. And well, guess what? The e-navigation tree turned out to be a Madagascar baobab tree. And the low-hanging fruits are pretty high up in the air. But the good news is that we have reached the low-hanging fruits, and the other fruits are very close to the low-hanging fruit, because we're using the same e-navigation toolbox. That means that we can easily make other e-navigation services with the same toolbox. So that is very, very great, but it took some climbing to get there. Then I will just show this one here. I showed this last time at last DTEC as well. You can't read it, but I'll tell you. The middle part here is the development of the technical service specifications that are going on in IHO for navigational warning, for ARM, for ATON delivery, VTS, route exchange, and traffic clearance. And then we have some new ones. I know there's work being done on a standard for IVEF exchange, and it's also recently been decided that there'll be a collaboration between IHO and VTS for an under-keel clearance service. Over on the left, we have the e-navigation toolbox. I won't go into that. On the right, we have the digital incubator, the Open Digital Incubator Initiative, where a lot of organizations are working on getting experience from this implementation and feeding it back into the standardization work, which is basically what we are talking about here, and what we are going to demonstrate
a little fanfare, and then over to Julius.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for this very entertaining introduction. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. So in the second part of this presentation, we would like to talk specifically about the distribution of navigational warnings as a new maritime service in the context of e-navigation. But as Thomas said, many other S100-based services will work in a very similar way. And now if we look at the global provision of navigational warnings, we will face a number of challenges that are already solved, as you will see, but I thought it would be good to talk about them. So first of all, we will have several producers of these new navigational warning data sets, which will be, for example, for different nav areas, coastal regions, or in ports. And all of these data sets will have to be processed digitally by a modern ACTIS system or an ECS, other navigation system. Common understanding of a navigational warnings data set so that all of the systems, end users, etc., can actually understand this new data set. And the very simple answer to that question is IHO's S124 product specification, which defines the structure and contents of a navigational warnings data set. Now, the next question is, how does the data set get to the end user? And as this kind of information is time and safety critical, it has to happen in real time. And SECOM, which is an IC standard, IC 63173-2, together with a technical service specification based on IALA guideline G1128, will help us to achieve this. So SECOM gives us the general digital interface specification, and then we can use G1128 to specifically define the interaction between the service provider, like the shore side, and the service consumer, typically the ship, for the exchange of navigational warnings. Another very relevant aspect, of course, is cybersecurity. And again, SECOM is helping us with that by defining a public key infrastructure, meaning that every involved entity in this will get a digital identity that can be used for the secure exchange of data. Now, SECOM itself only defines the requirements for such a public key infrastructure. The implementation of the PKI will be delivered by the new IALA guideline G1183. And that is the Maritime Identity Registry as part of the Maritime Connectivity Platform. Now, finally, if we think about the big picture, at some point in the future, we will have many of these services provided by a large number of different organizations. So how can the end user actually find those services on an international voyage? And the answer here would be the Maritime Service Registry, which is also part of the Maritime Connectivity Platform. And we really hope to start the work on a new IALA guideline on the MSR during this session or at the next session of DTEC. So all in all, it is great to see a lot of involvement of IALA in this work, but we also see the involvement of other international organizations such as IHO and IEC. There's still a bit of a gap in the IMO space to mandate the equipment on the ship that is required to receive these services. But as it was mentioned earlier by the chair, there was a new submission for a new work output proposal at MSC 109 to address this, which was also co-sponsored by IALA. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Christopher from DMA for the first part of the demonstration. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I guess I need to share my screen as well. Can you hear me? Does it work?
Yes.
Yeah, it works. Like this. Okay, so we have at DMA, we have since 2017 or something like that, we've had a MSI promulgation system called NJORD implemented, which using templates and other clever function quickly manages to send out standardized navigational warnings and notices to mariners. And engaged in a EU project called Maritime, which has a presentation slide looking like this. We've managed to get funding to actually implement these communication standards and SECOM and MMS standards into the NJORD system so that we can now send out a navigational warning and had it consumed by, or how you say it, by platforms being SECOM and MCP, how do you say, ready. And I will, for those of you who don't know the NJORD system, it has an interface which looks like this. I've now logged in. I can change from creating creating warnings to creating notices to mariners and other geographical areas here for Greenland. And this is a map showing the different warnings, and you get the the general text messaging. So I'll just quickly now create a new warning, because we just got the information that we have an unreliable light on the island of Anholt. Which I will create like this. It's in Kattegat. It's in the vicinity of Anholt. I will check where it is. Oh. For some reason, I went out of the editor. What could go wrong with a live demo? Now, I might not hit the precise spot, but let's say here. And now, because it's such a clever program, it just creates the message like this. And I go in and I can say, save message, and I verify the message. And I publish the message. And I don't know if you noticed, but there were some promulgation types. I forgot to show them, but one of the promulgation type is to send it out as a standardized S24 message. And when I now publish it, it will show up on the Nav UI S124 consuming view that Julius is going to show. Maybe I will wait with publishing it, so it will pop up on the.
Just give me a couple of minutes to introduce the.
Yeah.
Would you like to answer that for your part, or?
Everything.
There you go. Yeah, so what Christopher just demonstrated, that would be the shoreside part. So that would be a data production system used, for example, by DMA, or also maybe in the future in Australia in our Joint Rescue and Coordination Center to produce these new S124 data sets. Now, what you see here would be something you would find in a similar way on the ship. Our expectation is that this is something that could be part of a modern S100 Actis. And what you see here specifically is NavUI. NavUI is a prototype user interface developed by AMSA to demonstrate the capabilities of real-time SECOM S100 services and the Maritime connectivity platform. The main development is done by AMSA, but it is also developed in the context of the Open Digital Incubator. So we have had many other maritime administrations provide input to this prototype. So what do you see here? Now on the left-hand side, you have the typical list of navigational warnings. So this is what you would find on a ship, maybe on an FTEX display, or somebody would print that out. And it's a very long list of text-based warnings, and quite complicated for the mariner to go through all of them and then read them. You will find the coordinates are just here available as text-based coordinates. So you would have to plot that on your Actis manually or even on a paper chart, and it just takes a very long time. Now, if you look here on the right-hand side, what you will see is how it will look in the future. So you will see all of the relevant navigational warnings directly on the chart. And it just gives you an increased situational awareness. So if you know your planned voyage, you can just look at the map and see, okay, there are a couple of navigational warnings here that could be relevant, but the ones here, for example, in South Australia, might not be relevant. It is also a lot more interactive than the text-based warning, so you could just zoom in a little bit, get some additional information here if you click on the warning. So it will tell you, for example, the responsible agency, the warning series, the number, the validity period. By the way, all of this is machine readable, so that could also be used in automated systems or autonomous navigation systems in Mars. But you also get like the old classic traditional text here if you would prefer that. And another feature that we have here with S124 and SECOM out of the box is cybersecurity. So you will see here at the bottom that this data set was digitally signed, and it also tells you by an MRN who did that. So in this case, it's AMSA. And it also tells you here the certificate authority, so the organization that issued that certificate to AMSA that was used to sign the data set. and that in this case is the MCP identity registry from the MCC MCP testbed. You can also download the data set and then import it to the real actors. And we also tested that and it actually works. So now let's come to the interesting part here. In the beginning, I talked about interoperability and the global provision of navigational warnings and how it all works when we have different service providers. Now, if I go here to the services list, I will see a list of all the services currently available in the testbed that provide navigational warnings in the new S124 format. Now, if I zoom out here a little bit to the global view, I can just tick the box here. And with just one click, we have imported navigational warnings from Korea. We can also do that with navigational warnings from Denmark. Just one click, very easy. And maybe for the last part, from Canada. This will take a little bit longer because Canada has quite a few warnings. But you see, in the future, it's all very easy. You can just click on the service, you will get the warnings, and then I can go here also, like I just demonstrated, open one of the Canadian data sets. Here you also see that this one was not signed by AMSA, obviously, because it's from the Canadian Coast Guard. And it's just a very simple way to load all these data sets and present them to the user. Now, how does that work? Because all of these services were developed independently by different organizations, as you can see here on the slide. They all run on different servers, and there is different implementations. So different people have implemented these services. However, they all comply with the S124 product specification. They all comply with SECOM, with the MCP specifications, and the G1128 service specification for the exchange of navigational warnings. Now, all of these administrations registered their services in the Maritime Service Registry, which is used live by the NavUI backend to find these services. Now, the magical thing about this is as soon as, let's say, for example, Stefan here goes back to Germany and develops such a service for Germany, it will just take him 5 minutes. It's really easy to go to the Maritime Service Registry, register the service, and then it will automatically show up in the NavUI in the list of services. And we can just load the data from Germany with a simple click. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for a very, very good presentation. I have the same question as Omar. Is that code available as open source?
Yeah, so at the moment, the NavUI is not available as open source, but it's just a matter of time. So we're working on it. There's some legal people in the background who need to do legal things. But if they are done, this will also be available as open source.
And then I have the second question. Oh, Omar.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you. And the second question, and that's more into the direction of Omar, because I hear you are still in charge for the academy. Now we get all this good open source, and we have all these maritime administrations sitting here, and we have the nerds. Sorry, for me, nerd, I'm also a nerd, so for me that is a good word. We have the nerds who know how to set up something like that and to use it. And we have the open source. So the question is, how do we get that to the people? And I discussed that a bit because I wanted to get such a service set up. And then we discussed it a bit and we said, in principle, we think that could be a job for IALA. because it's open source, so it's completely for free. The only thing is we need to transfer the know-how to all the administrations who want actually to have such an S124, and that could be, because it's sure administration stuff, could be an IALA job. Maybe that's already in the planning, but it's already in the planning. Okay, so then I give the word to IALA.
Thank you for this excellent suggestion, Stefan. So for your information, we have already had one trial training course on S200 some time ago now, and it revealed different stakeholders, the nerds, the not so many, the decision makers that need to understand, and we have planned already. What did you say? February. Yeah, and in February we will have the next stage of this, but we will try to educate people on this. This is where you say thank you to me.
Thank you, Ayala, and thank you, Omar, because that's what was just missing. Now we have harmonized stuff. Now we only have to get it out to the people. Thank you.
Julius, IMO OSCAM, please.
Yeah, please.
Morning to all. Can you hear me well? Yeah. Okay. Good morning to all. First of all, just briefly, I'd like to congratulate IALA for the major step forwards about becoming an IGO. And also thanks for the presentation, interesting one, very impressive. As you mentioned earlier, I mean, at the MSc 109, there is a proposal for a new output on S100. And this, if accepted, will probably end up at the NCSR 12 agenda. And I was just, as a suggestion for those who are involved, you may consider delivering a similar presentation at NCSR 12. Maybe that will be very useful for IMO member states to understand the scope and the whole, how this works from the information providers all the way down to the ship. Just as a suggestion for you to consider. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the suggestion. I will definitely see what we can do to deliver a similar presentation at NCSR should the proposal be accepted by the committee. Yeah, thank you. We also have a third part of the demonstration. So any further questions at this stage?
Final question from me because of the time.
Okay, I will make it very short. So what about the route certificate in your demonstration? Where does it come from?
Yeah, so at the moment we are just using the MCC testbed instance for the services. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a self-signed certificate at the moment, yeah. But of course, as we will see more and more operational MCP instance providers, that there will be a schema to ensure that we have proper root certificates. Yeah. And before I hand over to Thomas, just if you're interested to learn more about Australia's vision for digitalization, I just would like to recommend you to read our updated version of the navigation services in Australian waters outlook to 2035. If you have any questions, just talk to me in the breaks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julius. Then, Thomas, next presentation.
Oh, we have more. Wow. So this part is now in continuation of what we were demonstrating at last DTEC, where we did a demonstration of am I not sharing? Okay, I'll try again. Okay, so last DTEC we were making a demonstration on the MMS. We were demonstrating various features of the MMS. We were also sending messages over VDES, which was demonstrated by Stanula. And we were actually also sending a small file containing an S124 message. But what we're going to try to demonstrate now again, nail-biting live demo here, is that we're going to see a SECOM service. In this case, it'll be the DMA SECOM service that we saw demonstrated. And then we will have a SECOM MMS gateway that subscribes to that service. And that means it uses the SECOM subscription interface. And some of the service providers have already implemented that, obviously DMA, but also CRISO, Korea, and Australia. So the gateway connects to that, sends the data to the MMS network, and then we have an app connected to the MMS network that will be able to subscribe to that data and visualize it if we're a little bit lucky. So this shows the transfer of the data from the SECOM service, the standardized SECOM service, through the MMS network to an app that gets the data. So here we have the app. It's called ChatC, developed by AIVeNautics. And we have zoomed in on Denmark here because we're going to see a navigational warning from Denmark. We don't see anything now because we haven't subscribed to anything. I will go in here and I will add a subscription to a subject and I will choose S124, confirm. And I will go back to the map. There's still nothing because I only subscribe. That means I'll get new data when it is published. So now I will ask Christopher, maybe you could possibly subscribe a new navigational warning from Njord. Crossing fingers, crossing fingers. Yes. Here we go. We have a navigational warning through SECOM, through the MMS network, which in principle also would be able to go through VDES because we showed that last time. And we got the navigational warning of Anholt, and I can click on it and get the information about the navigational warning. Beautiful. And we will probably do some more, propose some more spectacular demonstration of this at the next DTEC, but we are afraid of getting a wow OD now, so we'll stop here. Yeah, okay, we got a second one. Fantastic. Zoom is very difficult when you're in this simulation, but yeah, the one here. Beautiful. So all of this is, as was also mentioned, this development is done by different organizations working together, implementing things, creating open source software, getting experience in the development, all part of the Open Digital Incubator. So anybody is, of course, very welcome to join this initiative and make e-navigation great again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Any question? Nothing? Okay, thank you very much. Then,
So is that mobile app also open source?
Illustrating the standards here. So this is what is capable with the standard. The app itself here is not open source, but the MMS software that is being developed in MCC is open source.
Yeah, John Hendrik.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a straightforward, simple question. I assume that the MCP, as demonstrated, is carrier agnostic. Is it not?
Thomas?
So the MMS is designed to be carrier agnostic. So you can use either the plain internet or you can use non-IP communication like VDES, and it could in principle also use any other kind of communication link. Yes.
Thank you. Then thank you very much, Thomas. So your presentation all three over. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Then also Hans? Yeah, just in time. You had the presentation. Yeah. New VDES antenna. Yeah. You can join from your seat or
Don't be the sit or don't come up?
both. Up to you. Yeah, you just come. Presentation. Yeah. Alisa had. That was 5 per day.
Everything.
Okay, now you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You want this? You got to turn it on.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Very good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hans Haugli. I'm a Chief Technology Officer in Space Norway. We've been very active in VDS since 2015, and I know a lot of people in the room here, especially for the technical working group. Today I'm going to talk a bit about some of the experiences we had, in particular the issue of fading. You see on the front page here, you see Kongsberg Harstad, which was used for. How do we green it now? Oh yeah, could you shift next page? Yeah, so on the front page here, you see Kongsberg Harstad. And here on the next page, you see a curve. The curve there is something we measured out in the Barents Sea from the NORSAT 2 satellite in November 2017. And if you look at the curve there, you will see that the signal level varies a lot over the satellite pass time. A typical satellite pass time is 10 minutes. So you see here we have a variation. We measure signal level over 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes. And you look at the signal, you can see that it varies a lot. The blue line is approximately the average signal, and the red line is some of the deepest fades we have seen. So the result of this is that we saw with the dipole, we have very, very deep fades of the satellite signal. And of course, that causes some hassle because we will lose a lot of data whenever we are under, for example, the red line there, which means that the demodulator won't be able to correct for it. So we saw this, as I said, in 2017. And within the technical committee, we rushed to get a new waveform in the ITU 2092 standard to handle more fading, which we did. The cost of that was reduced bitrate. But anyway, this is what we saw. We were not happy about it, but this is what we had, and it was a bit different than what we had expected in some of the experts group looking at it. It's different at VHF compared to L-band. So we had some theories as to what this could be. And the theory we felt fairly convinced was that we would have specular reflection from a multifat, that the sea acted like a mirror, and the signal which would come in will be reflected, and as it is reflected, it will change the polarization. So I've shown in the green here, I've shown the satellite polarization, which is right-hand circular, and when it hits the surface of the ocean, it is reflected into left-hand circular polarization, and to the left, you see the dipole antenna, which received both polarization at equal strength. We had a theory that, and we had some proof that this was probably the case. We did statistics analysis and time domain statistics, and we managed to get the models to match. So we theorized and believed that if you actually had a circular polarized antenna, then it would reject a proper circularized antenna compared to normal dipole. You would reject the reflection. You would suppress the reflection and thereby reduce the amount of fading. So this is what we were quite convinced. However, one thing is theory, another thing is practice. Next, please. So we looked at a couple of antennas, and we were so fortunate that European Space Agency had a very, very small amount of money. So we put together a prototype circular polarized antenna. That's, if you look to the left on top, there is it looks like a cloth hangers rack. This was called a double cross antenna. It's quite a big antenna, but it has very good circular polarization characteristics. So we built that antenna, prototype of that antenna. We put it on the roof, and we had 2 antennas on the roof. We had 2 receivers at the Kongsberg CTEC facilities in Trondheim. One used a normal dipole. Next to it, we had a second one which had this double cross antenna with good circular polarization. In particular, where the reflection comes in at negative elevation angles, which was important. So this is what we had, and here you can see we plotted on the same curve or the same time scale that passed there. This was in 2019. So you can see that in orange that the double cross or circular polarized antenna had generally a lot better signal through the whole pass compared to the dipole, which was the blue one. And for us, it's a bit hard to see exactly what the improvement is, but we felt pretty confident that was at least 5 dB improvement in signal strength, which is a lot in the satellite world. Because we are already being pushed by the power flux density limits that the Russian put on us. So having more margin and improving on that, will give us more throughput and better performance. So that's why we were interested in this. Having proven this one, you take the next, please. So having proven that it gets better with circular polarized antennas, the European Space Agency believed us and said and issued a request for a tender to study and analyze such antennas. Having built this antenna, we realized that this antenna is nothing to use in the Arctic with ice, etc., etc. And the one we built didn't really last more than a month, even in a fjord, partly due to constructions. But so we felt that we needed to have a much better antenna. The other thing we saw was that we really wanted to improve the gain, maximize the gain of this antenna towards the satellite. And the satellite, most of the gain is needed at low elevation angles. So we analyzed more than 50 different type of antennas. We optimized them, simulated, we compared, etc., etc. Zoomed in on one, and that one was the one we selected, and that one got built. And if you look at the diagrams here, you'll see that the left diagram shows the simulation. And if you look at the green arrow, that's the signal, wanted signal from the satellite, and it comes in quite strong at the edge of the curve there. And the reflected signal is in red. It comes in with much, much lower sensitivity, about 10 dB less sensitivity. So you really have suppressed the multiplied by a factor of 10 dB, which is quite a lot. To the curve to the right is the actually antenna measured antenna results, that's antenna result, and you can see it covers 157 to 162 megahertz. The antenna is not very slim. It's called a slim quadrifilar helix. The diameter is around 16 centimeters and about 1 meter and 50 tall, and it has a weight of about 5.9 kilograms. This is mainly glass fiber. This antenna was built by the antenna manufacturer Comrod, which is a Norwegian company that has been making maritime antennas for a long time. So we're very pleased that 5 were developed and more can now be ordered as required. So it's a commercial antenna. Next, please. So we really believe that this antenna improves system performance. We have seen that we improved the average level around 4 dB, which is partly due to polarization loss and a bit better antenna gain. We optimized towards the satellite. We have seen very variable improvements in fade reduction. We've seen up to 8 dB improvements in some situations. In all the situations, we've seen less. So it seems to be variable. So right now, we feel we need more stable measurements to tell exactly what the figures are in terms of fade reduction. The important part here is if you look at the table, you will see that the nominal rate we use at VDES downlink today in a 50 kHz channel is around 800 bits per second. It's not a lot. If you can improve the link, which we are pretty sure we have, you can increase that about 2.6 times to around 2 kilobits per second. And if you can improve the margin to 6 dB, we possibly get up to 17 or even more or similar type of improvements, even using more bandwidth. So there are some potential here to increase the throughput. Now, we may have to use some of this margin to reduce the packet error rate because we are seeing higher packet error rates than we want. And in particular, we have seen quite a lot of interference, variable interference. We've seen noise floor varying by 15 dB within the harbor over short periods of time. And we haven't been able to correlate that in terms of activities. Not time of day, comes and goes. What was quite interesting and surprising for us with this antenna, we saw that in a harbor like Trondheim Harbor, which is very noisy, we saw that this antenna, the new antenna, suppressed interference quite a bit. So we actually got less interference. This antenna, not only did we improve the median level, we reduced the standard deviation, and we suppress the interference, probably because interference is vertical, so half the energy would kind of fall in the wrong polarization for this antenna. So that's so the jury in a way is out as to how much we can improve it. We are pretty sure we get up to the next bit rate, so it's about 2.5 times the improvement. We're hoping to get more than that, and of course more measurements are needed and more stable setup to do that. Next, please. So this is the last slide. The vessel to the right is the Kongsberg Sea-Tex Ocean Spade slab vessel, which they use for testing. Unfortunately, I haven't been on board yet, but I've been told it's doing 40 knots. So I look forward to that one day in the Trondheim fjord. But it's quite a nice test facility. So we want to go out and do more measurement, characterize it. And as we have now developed this antenna, and it is commercially available for less than 900 euros or dollars. So for us, it's part of our ongoing activity. We have demonstrated through satellite now a number of services, quite a number of services. It's feasible to do them. Now we need to improve the quality of those type of services in terms of capacity and also packed air rates. So that's the kind of a big area. And we think that this new antenna is a new arsenal. That's something else we can use. It's not for every ship, but for some ships, maybe they want 2.5 times as much data and think it's worthwhile to have such an antenna type. It's up to, we'll have to see what the market wants, but at least it's a tool we have to use if required. I know I have spoken rapidly. I tried to keep within a short time slot here. This was my last slide, and I see Pielemeyer has a question.
Thank you, Haugli. My first question, I have 3 questions. First one is, what about AIS? Because as it's for VDES equipment, of course, the reception of AIS is important, and I would expect you to the circular polarization, you lose a bit in the sensitivity of AIS.
Of course, I prove AIS exactly the same way. There's no
there's no difference.
There's no difference. No.
Okay, that's good.
So
okay, check. Right, that's good. Because you said it, it suppresses the other noise sources. So that's interesting. Where does it know from what is noise and what is AIS?
That's a very good question. We think there are many different ones, and we see they come and go, and they are different locations.
Yeah.
And these are what I call downlink noise sources. So it's not the Russian VHF radars, which you know can be noisy, and we know they're active, of course, these days. But this is local interference that we see coming and going and varying a lot from different places. We have not been able to characterize that properly.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I can use Johnny's mic here. Okay, so we consider that the satellite is transmitting circular polarization. We know that. However, when we transmit ship to ship and ship to shore, we are using vertical polarization. And so the gain of the quadrifilar helix antenna, which you're proposing to consider for ship, would be approximately 2 dBi, I guess, right?
Yeah, so we would lose about 3 dB. So actually, if you look at the website of this manufacturer, you'll see that they measured again in linear polarization, and we are about 2-3 dB lower than the dipole as expected. So it'll be less for the dipole if you go linear to linear. We have not measured the what I call the fading characteristics, because you may get a bit less fading with this antenna, not into another dipole.
Yeah, so it's not going to affect the fading from ship to ship or ship to shore or shore to ship. It will affect the fading from the satellite.
Yes, and up, so AIS up to the satellite, down from satellite, VDES up and down to the satellite is what we will affect.
So we pay a price on the terrestrial side to get better performance on the satellite side.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Understood. And the cost of the antennas.
I think if you buy one, it's less than $900.
Okay, so $1,000.
Yep.
Thank you.
Singapore, yeah. Please. No, okay. Omar, please.
Yes, so Ross mentioned that we know that the satellites are transmitting circular polarization, but is there any guarantee that it is right-hand circular polarized? Is there any standardization there?
No. That's not been decided yet. No, standard law. Which polarization do you select?
Same, also right hand.
Yeah. So, but it's not a standard. So in theory, people could agree to use the same, or they could decide to use different ones. We were probably the first one, so we picked right hand because it was the word which came to mind, but it didn't really matter.
Yeah. So if somebody selects the other way around, you hear nothing.
Yes, then it would be very, very much. We have about 10 dB reduced.
Don't do that.
Okay. Thank you, Hans. Sorry, but it's a time. Yeah, Stefan, but some last question.
Okay, so I have only one of my two. Yes, then the question is, you listed some link IDs out there, Hans, but was that theoretical or did you already test that with the link IDs, 25, 28, 29?
No, as I mentioned, this is from the threshold which are given in the standard, which are based on measurements of the modems. We have not measured this in the field, but it's the numbers given in the standard. So we put that in there, and that's why I'm saying that we think there's potential, but we need more testing to really prove it and verify it. But we want to share this with you because we think it's promising, and we're looking for people who have perhaps wants to test with us, because getting a vessel, putting equipment on board, getting access to satellite time is not free of charge and not without takes some cost and effort.
So sorry, lost this time already. It's a time conference. It's a last question. Sorry, and then maybe later in the working group 3. Thank you, Hans. Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. Then I would like to invite Nicholas. You will say the presentation from the Singapore MPA. No, sorry. Okay, please come to here. So to presentation from the Singapore MPA. Please.
Can you hear me? Yeah, thanks. Let me share the screen first. Great. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Hello, everybody. My name is Liang Bing, and me and my colleagues, Dr. Fuxiu Zhu, are the research scientists from the Singapore Research Institutes, the IHPC and A-STAR. This is our first time being here, and thanks the opportunity for us to share some of the experience when we developing this automated near-miss incidents identification models and systems. So in this presentation, specifically, we will demonstrate the works that are being deployed and tested in the Singapore Water Strait. And we will also summarize some of the challenges and the experience recommendations for the data and the management when we be developing this. Yeah. So a quick illustration about the collision near-miss incidents. The near-miss we're talking about here refers to the close encountering case that could have resulted in the collision, but was avoided by the urgent avoidance actions or by chance. We know that back to many years ago, the IMO and IALA both has the initiatives and guidance to encourage the operator and navigators to submit and report these near-miss incidents, because it's very important and valuable for the safety management. As a very good addition to the real accidents set, it can improve the risk sensing and management performance by detecting the hidden course in the safety issues, and give us the insights into the potential risk in navigation, communication, and operation that could lead to the real accidents in the futures. So, but currently, I think the manual reporting face a lot of the challenges, like the excessive workload and the human errors and the subjective opinions. That is all the human factors that may lead the missing or the underreport of these near-miss cases. That's why in recent years the automated near-miss identification systems is getting attentions to fulfill this gap, to give us the objective ways to getting these incident sources for the further investigation. Yeah. Next, we will demonstrate some of the systems we have built and tested in Singapore. Strait. This is the collaboration with the MPA POCC in Singapore. We have built these systems and deployed them in the Singapore waters operational environments. And now they serve as candidates identification models to the operators, to providing them the candidates case dailies and as the inputs for there to do the further investigation. So here's a video we may take a look. Yeah, so this is a dashboard to showing the case that we detect. We can basically get the sense of the safety levels that happens, safety levels in these particular regions. This are some basic statistics numbers for the safe critical scenarios or the incidents that happened in the past. Yeah. Also, it has some functionality on the replay these cases. Yeah, in the this table list, we can select filtering the case and select the case that we want to take a look. Yeah, so you can see this is one of the typical case we found in the Singapore Strait. It shows that the avoidance actions was being taken at very last moment. That's why our models identify them as abnormal encountering cases from the history data. And yeah, I think that one was a system was complete quite a long time ago, but in the recent year, we extend our scope into the import water. So this is another research programs and the systems we built with the collaboration with the Pilotage Institute in Singapore, PSA Marine. We have built similarly. We have the automated detection model and systems and the visualization platforms, web-based visualization platforms for them, for our end users to assess our detection result. We can take a look. Yeah. Now this system is with the live AIS data and in the stage of the trial runs in the real world operational environments. So you can see we can check the case similarly. But this time I think we have, This time we have 3 more type of the incident types other than the ship to ships, because in the import water we have more collision types. The damages made from other case, like the collision between collision to the berth, collision to the buoy, and collision to the anchor ships. Yeah, this is the ship to ship case, typical one, and yeah, when we ship to the berthing, the some appropriate actions may has the potential to cause the damage to the infrastructures. And this is the buoy case, right? Usually the ship just keep far from the buoy, but sometimes they are getting too close, so we pick them as our detection result. Yeah, sometimes due to the tidal currents, the collision and damage might happen in the anchorage area also. Yeah, and some statistics, hotspot, we can sense the distribution of the risk that happens within the water. All the functionality that integrate in our systems. Okay. Yeah, so thanks the support from the Maritime Authority in Singapore. Those 2 systems are working well, and in their right checks. But in the stage of developing them, we actually face quite a lot of challenges. So we have summarized some of them. Yeah, some of them. These 2, I think, is the most critical one. First, I think quite obviously these data issues. We all know that in AIS there's quite a lot data issues problems in many dimensions of these AIS messages. As we can see in these figures, we have the data issues in the accuracy, resolutions, and precision resolution and time resolutions. So those are the quality issues may cause the unexpected detection results, including the missed critical case in key case, or the excessive false positive. False positive case means the safe case that's supposed not to be the case that we detect as in the result. And even if we result the enough sufficient quality, we cannot do the visual playbacks, then the expert then cannot to verify and do the judgment further in our systems and for the safety management. Yeah, actually, we have conducted the quantification research on this impact analysis about this data quality. For example, for the time resolutions with the position update rates of the 30 seconds, there will be a missing rate about 50% for detection compared to the ideal update frequency, which is about within 10 seconds. So that is the quantification of the impact of these quality issues. Yeah. I think the second one is the second challenges we face is the incomplete and even missing of the knowledge data set from the domain experts. Because in developing, we found it's quite challenges to collecting the details and reasonable explanations and descriptions for every case or the candidate's incidents we found. So this is the very challenging issues. If we cannot get the domain inputs correctly or intensively, then we cannot build the models quite close to the real world. And another one is we lack the knowledge on the not only the bad case, also the usual case, typical good case, because the model needs to know what not only wants to know the which bad case is, they wants to know why this good case is the good one. So we're also facing the lack of these knowledges. So in general, this we missing these systematic and structures recording manners when we collecting the domain inputs in this contest, when we build these automated identification systems. Yeah. To address those challenges, here's some recommendations and guidance we think we have in our mind. The first is to ensure the data movement information are properly collected, and to keep this quality level as high as we can. For example, the positions and speed course and headings. Yeah. And secondly, when we do the management and maintenance of the database, we try to avoid to downgrade this data set or the data recording data set. Try to maintain the highest recording frequency, for example, to prevent the compression, especially in the high-risk areas, congested areas. Yeah. And besides some of the basic techniques to do the cleaning and pre-processed is recommended. For example, the sliding window techniques and the dynamics interpolations that makes the qualities much better. Yeah. Yeah. Second one is the recommendation is to encourage the people to give us the more intensive and details, description and explanations to the this case, the case we found, and to apply more appropriate and a multi-level labeling work. For example, the accidents or the near miss or potential near miss, or even the typical safe passages, to build this data set more valuable. And also we have to capture the diverse experts' opinions, like the different roles, different experience years, and also their confidence levels to this data set we built. Yeah, thanks. I think I would like to hand over the summary, the part of summary to my colleagues, Dr. Hu Xiuji. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Liang Bin. I think after we share this work we have been doing, actually I want to thank Mr. Oma and Minshu, give us a lot of valuable comments and advice how to do this in more systematic way. For example, Mr. Oma asked us a very critical question. He said, if we want to do this near-miss case automation, so what's the data quality we need? Actually, when we started this work, we do use very high resolution data from MPA. Thanks for them. But not all the VDES or all the portal authority may store the high resolution AIS data. So then we go through this quantified evaluation. But in this presentation, I want to share that actually this near-miss case detection can be done. I mean, the automation can be done. And it definitely can help us reduce a lot of human workload. So we don't say that with this automation, you don't need the operator to report, but we still may advise them to report. But at this moment, when you ask people to report, even some situation people have different opinion or they miss to report. So this automated tool can help. At the same time, when we ask the operator to report and when we have this automation tool, this way is we synchronize them together. We enhance the risk recognition. Mentally, people will know that if we have the detection tool, I need to recognize the proper risk. When it exceeds a certain threshold, we need to report and we need to avoid next time. And definitely after we have this near-miss case, we can review, we can find the hidden cause. I think all these ones we have mentioned already. Also, you can do the targeted training. Who and where you see more risk, that's the risk map. Just now my colleague have shown. So all of this will help us to change the landscape of VDES safety management. We call it proactive because now you move one step ahead before this near-miss case really turn into an accident. I think this is very important. I hope the work we show here, we can help all of us to stand on the same page about this point. And I think our experience in Singapore port with the collaboration of Maritime Port Authority, we show and we prove, again, it can be done. And we hope this work will help us to highlight that digitalization and the high quality data, the domain knowledge to incorporate with the digitalization to help build this kind of automatic tool will be the future trend. It's just one of the example. Yeah, so with all of this, I thanks for your attention and we welcome question and collaboration. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. One question. Okay, Ross, please.
Yes, I think some of you are aware that we've been studying the problem in the United States with the blocking of the AIS from the VHF radio. So when you're talking on the radio, you're not getting updates from AIS. And this is a very big problem because your update rate is already marginal, every 10 seconds or something like that. So you're talking on the radio, you miss some of those. And the problem there is that your AIS icons on the screen don't move. So where you really are and where you think you are two different things. So we need to be careful that we pass the word to the pilots on the bridge. Don't talk on the radio when you're close. Okay, something like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to the questions. Yeah, I think the AIS data we apply is in the current stage, but we do have the plan and the capabilities to further adding more factors in this investigation and safety related research, like the radios communication, VHF, and also the sensors, other sensor data from radar, and maybe even the VDES also could help in the future development. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, sorry for the time constraints. Okay, thank you very much for the good presentation. And just one more presentation from MPA. Thank you very much. It's a good presentation. Just say.
Yeah, just-
next.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wing from Maritime Port Authority of Singapore, and I will be like to share about the Singapore Maritime 5G development. Next slide, please. A bit about history about the Singapore 5G rollout. Similar to most other countries, Singapore already started rolling out 5G for early 2000, which is 2020, and achieving 50% coverage over Singapore mainland in 2022. Moving for the three major cellular providers, they already achieved 99% coverage in early 2024 and towards the island-wide coverage in 2025. This is an achievement made by our Singapore mobile regulator, IMDA, which is to ensure that Singapore is fully covered for 5G based on the consumer needs. As we all know that 5G has been instrumental in accelerating digitalization, work processes through the usage of data exchange and audio radar playback. We also see that this is also a possible cause for the maritime community. And this is also posing a challenge at connectivity at sea because IMDA, the focus is primarily on enhancing coverage on land, which is due to the higher population density and traffic. With the current 3G and 4G networks, which is lacking the bandwidth required to expedite digitalization productivity, MPA has been thinking on how maritime connectivity can both meet the current and future operational requirements. So similarly with other government agencies, the development of 5G technology has been bringing multiple applications that enhance work processes by digitalization. For MPA, we have been exploring different applications for maritime sector, categorizing them into 6 groups to help us to understand what will be the best way forward. The first one will be about the enhanced situation awareness. As a port authority, nevertheless, it is essential for us to guarantee the safe navigation of ships and the safety and the maritime environmental protection requirements. We see that the implementation of 5G technology will facilitate the seamless data exchange between MPA vessels, improving situation awareness, and of course, supporting their daily operations. We also think that using sensors as a reliable source of information could enhance the data accuracy and enable advanced data analytics for more precise incident prevention. So this will be the first for the enhanced situation awareness. The second thing we look at is the maritime innovation, because we know that the 5G is able to unblock new possibility, and that was currently constrained by older standards like 4G. I mean, everybody we have seen in here is that our lifestyle has been transformed, our work practice has been expanded by the use of digital connectivities. For us, we'll be looking at new applications such as MAS or UAVs that will be explaining later part in the presentation, how we can boost productivity given in a population like Singapore based under a declining population. The third one will be the global developments. As we have seen that there is a greater need for sharing of data in real time within global organization bodies, there is a need to adapt of maritime digital workflows. This will be a transition that can be accelerated by the 5G. in comparison with the current communications that we all seen in terms of satellite communications. For Singapore, we all see the cost effectiveness of 5G that are able to expedite the momentum towards digitalization in the maritime industry. Similarly, for digitalization, the aim is to increase productivity, improve efficiency, and also to drive innovation across industry and sectors. Usage of drones will help the organization to reduce costs and deliver better services, and to allow more services and products to end users, like delivery of supplies from shore to sea. Just-in-time applications, which also allowed to streamline operations, increase flexibility, and of course, to enhance responsiveness. And of course, we will look at the last point will be the comprehensive coverage in the port waters. Because for this, we allowed applications like telemedicine to enable the maritime community to access remote care services remotely. It was also being seen in our COVID lockdowns. So this is the evolution of our 5G plans. We started off with collaboration with IMDA to provide the 5G coverage together with a local telco M1 that to provide the 5G infrastructure over Singapore port waters. And this will be completed by mid-2025. And of course, during this course, we will be looking at different solution providers to see how the operation models that Maritime can use that harness the 5G technology. Currently, at this moment, we have completed phase 1, which is the 3 base stations in the southern part of Singapore. This is the one that provide a portion of the 5G coverage for our use cases and operational testing capabilities. Moving on, the Maritime 5G will expand this coverage by additional base stations and to additional anchorage, as you can see, by 2025, so that anybody within the sea will be able to enjoy this connectivity. This will be the end result in the mid-2025, where we will see the anchorage, fairways, terminals, and boarding grounds that we covered by Maritime 5G. This will be a test bed for innovation and commercialize our 5G use cases for the next decade. And now I will share about some of the use cases that we have done for using the Maritime 5G. In the recent oil spill in June, we have been deploying drones that will be offering real-time video feeds and transmit images to the operational center using this 5G connectivity. This is required so that our ops center is able to identify the areas where the oils are and able to coordinate response craft to contain and clean up the oil slick, and of course the organizing the deployment of containment booms. In 2024, we have an annual ferry exercise, which is simulate a hull collision, a collision between a fast ferry and a harbor craft. During this exercise, we also simulate a possible ferry hull damage, and we have deployed a AUV, autonomous unmanned vehicle, under the water to assess the damage of the vessel and of course, to send real-time video data and sea information back to the command center. This data exchange facilitates the assessment of the hull integrity to make a more informed decision-making during the rescue operations. Moving on, as we want to streamline processes, improve efficiency, We are looking out to boost the efficiency and transparency in the digital bunkering process by digitalizing the traditional bunkering documentation, which is now doing physical delivery notes that you send between ship to ships. We will look to use electronic bunkering delivery notes. This will be an ongoing trial with the industry by MPA to explore and work to see what kind of enhancements needed in terms of automating the data so that this will be a more autonomous and manual saving activities. Thank you, everybody. I have reached the sharing of the Maritime 5G from Singapore. Is there any questions? Maybe.
John Henry.
Thank you, Mr. K, for this very interesting presentation on how you, as Singapore, translates the 5G technology to the maritime domain. I'm quite intrigued because Germany has started to look into the IMT technologies, 5G and even 6G starting as a general purpose carrier for all kind of connectivity in the future. And so this is a pointing case. And as you may have noticed, we have input also a workshop proposal for IALA on this regard. So I would like to see more in maybe next year's time on that development. And also we heard about the presentation of Ms. Ko earlier. We had a workshop with her and colleague in the IMT development 6G. So I really encourage you and thank you for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Final question, Omar, please.
I echo what Jan Hendrik was saying. This is really an interesting angle using this technology. I have one question. I actually have two, but I will take since I only have one slot. Looking at your plans and the coverage that you were going for, you are of course covering the port area, but it stops at the port limits in your plans. So I was wondering, is there any formal problem or challenge with actually covering the traffic separation scheme just outside? Because that would benefit shipping a lot.
Hi, Dennis here. Omar, I think thanks for the question. That was actually considered as well during our implementation. But I think that as far as we're concerned, this is something that we're exploring quite keenly with our IMDA colleagues, our telco regulator. The traffic separation scheme currently is really more or less managed as a shared resource. There are other neighbors that we need to work closely with. So we're actually leaving these aspects to our regulator to discuss with the telco regulators of our neighbors to see what can be done in the traffic separation scheme. But today, I think what we can do definitely is to start that test bed in our port waters and then to see the benefits and then to explain the benefits to the ecosystem. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. Yeah. On yeah. Did you see the online?
No, he doesn't have the screen.
Oh, okay. Do you have any comment on the approach that you made?
Yes, I think it takes a lot of hard work and convincing to actually our telco regulator has always been since 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G looking at just the mainland coverage. But when we look at our port waters, it is also part of our sovereign coverage. So I think moving forward, our telco regulators are half convinced that they will take on in future, maybe for 6G. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for the very good presentation regarding, especially in working groups who will taking care of these issues in IMT technologies. Okay, thank you very much. This is all presentation done. We are a little bit behind the schedule. So next agenda item is regarding input paper. Of course, we have a pre-chairs meeting 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, and at that time we see that all input paper and allocated each working groups. But after that, we have just received the 3 liaison notes from the VDES 56, which is held in the last week. Regarding one is the liaison note of the emerging technology and also liaison note of mass. So I think it's maybe working group 2 will discuss this liaison note to go out to the liaison back to the VDES committee. That's all input paper and also allocation of the input papers. Is there any question regarding input papers? If nothing, then I would like to move to the DTEC3 working group program and arrangement. And first, I would like to invite Axel to your working group 1. What's the program for this week?
Yeah, hello everybody. We will have definitely a very, very good program with a lot of wow moments, I think. And we have more or less 4 main activities. So one is we will have discussions on the maritime service specifications. The next thing is an activity, so we will start that today at 1600. So when we have a task on maritime resource names with some input papers, my proposal to the group will be today that we will deal with that tomorrow at 9. And then we have a follow-up from last meeting on product specification for disaster management. Just to remind ourselves, here we split up to say how we do the modeling for the data for product specifications in task group 1 and how to transfer the S100 specific data with VDES and other means in work group 3. So here we have a first input paper, and then we just had this together this fantastic presentation about automated near-miss incident identification. We have a related paper to that tomorrow, and my primary plan is to have it at 1400. Then we have some further slots until Thursday free to do all the work, and we will make our plan for that today at 1400 and publish it on the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Axel. Any question to the working group 1 program? Okay, if maybe after. Okay, and then move to the next. Jillian online. Can you just introduce your work program for this week, Jillian?
Yes, certainly I will. And I do apologize. I think my camera might have will stop working. So you'll have a disembodied voice. We have a very busy schedule ahead of us, and you will have seen in input paper 5.2.2 a schedule for the week of work. So we will be commencing our work on guidance to implement developments of innovation. We had a discussion on this at last meeting, and we will continue that work. The guidance on marine ATON for MASS, as you've heard, there are a number of input papers on that, and we will continue to develop this from the point of view of a overall IALA holistic guideline on MASS. We are commencing initial work on the guidance on risk assessment and certification methods. We refined the task at confirmed this task at DTEC2, and we expect to refine this task at DTEC3. We will be continuing our work on the development of IMT 2030 and formulating the user requirements. Excellent presentation as a lead into that work, so thank you very much for that. And thank you, Han He, who is a task group leader on that, for the comment in the chat box. We hope to complete the manual on maritime communications. So this was the deprecation of the MRCP carried over from last work term, and in consultation with IALA, it was decided to turn this into a maritime communications manual. Based on the intersessional work, we do hope to get this completed at this session. So I will highlight that again. The goal is to complete the Marcom manual. If you have any further comments on that, please ensure they are provided to myself or my vice chair. I would like to introduce Dennis. So Dennis Koo, who you just spoke, who was recently speaking, he is the vice chair now for DTEC. Working Group 2. We are commencing our discussion paper on the digitalization in the scope of IALA, led by Singapore MPA, and thank you very much for taking that on. We will continue the excellent work on the guidance on digitalization of waterways, and there has been a number of intersessional sessions on that already, and we will see the outcome of that work and then continue that work. The review of candidate technologies is an ongoing item for Working Group 2, and related to this we have 2 presentation sessions. One presentation session will be on Tuesday morning, and that is 9 to 10:30 French time. Session we will focus on the ship's airdraft remote measurement. We have a presentation in addition to the input from China MSA on this. From OMC in Australia, we will have a presentation on their approach to remote airdraft. We'll also finish off the metal surface communications, MS at MS, with the import paper trials on that. On Wednesday, in the final session, 1600 to 1730 Paris time, we will have 3 presentations. An update on a presentation from a few years ago from Qualcomm with regards to 5G private network and positioning in a port environment. We will have an update on that Madame project that we heard about earlier from Tero Jakela, and we will have an update on innovation in the San Francisco Marine Exchange from Scott Humphrey. And so that is the final session on Wednesday. And of course, you're all welcome to join virtually or physically. All presentations from those speakers I've just mentioned would be online. We also have some activity on, based on some work that we had done at the last session. And this is guidance on the implementation of S100 from an ATON authority perspective. And we heard about the excellent workshop that was happening. And the fact is that this is not looking at the technical aspects of the S100, but the actual implementation based on a presentation and discussion session held at DTEC3. And thank you to Jan-Hendrik Altman for that work. We also have been provided with some additional papers to review, which we will address, and we will slot those in as appropriate into the work schedule. And we look forward to seeing you at Working Group 2.
Thank you, Julian. Any question regarding Working Group 2? Okay. Thank you very much. Last but not least, Stefan Piermeyer, Working Group 3, please.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody is waiting to break for lunch, so I make it very short. We will work on VDES and AIS. The input paper list is available, and we will concentrate on VDES first because we have an input to the US Coast Guard, more or less, that we want to start with and get through, so we know if, what we do there. Because there's people on the other side waiting for our input. And then, so that's probably VDES on Monday to Wednesday, and then AIS on Thursday, and everything else in between. And we are very flexible. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? So before moving lunch, I would like to know that how many people attend what working groups. So could you raise your hand for working group 1? Thank you. Please down your hand, and then working group 2. Thank you. Please down, and then working group 3. Okay, thank you. Please here.
I think first and Arctic, second one.
Arctic second.
This is less.
It's gonna be, that's,
Right here.
almost the,
Or first into here and this third.
The working is here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How about?
I put, one here.
The working group 1. Thank you. So that the working group 3 as usual here, and then other side working group 2 and working group 1. Please go to the Arctic room. Okay. So that's lunch break. Thank you very much for your presentation and plenary. Okay. Thank you.